So what can you tease about how the Flash and Arrow are going to introduce Legends of Tomorrow into the universe?
Well, yeah, what we planned is kind of nuts. Like we've done a sort of, there were crossover episodes last season, and now we've sort of doubled down on the notion of trying to integrate the worlds of the 3 shows, which it's such an awesome idea on paper, but like logistically, when you try to figure like out what it means to try to have these poor actors like trying to appear on 3 shows at once, it's like it kind of, I mean, time travel is something that makes your head want to explode, but the idea of like trying to find how to like make the boards of all 3 shows coordinate, it's probably will kill us, I think, or kill at least one of the actors, but if it works, I think it could be one of the coolest things, because it's just, it's not happening anywhere on television, and it seems like it really enriches the world of all the shows when you have people crossing through the background, the sort of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, of realizing that like, oh man, all of a sudden, these places feel real. If somebody was on another show and then they're on their show, that suddenly it lends the luster and sort of combines it. So, yeah.
Just for a quick recording purposes,
yeah.
Can you just state your name and what you do?
Sure, I'm Phil Klemmer. I'm the showrunner, co-creator, EP, and whatever. Writer. I guess I'm the writer.
What do you like about the mix of characters on this show? Because it's such like an eclectic, I don't want to say random, but kind of random mix, because it's not like this is never a group that was in a comic together. These are characters from all over DC that are put together for the first time.
Yeah, I really like how we justify that in the pilot, although I don't want to give away the secret. But like, I mean, to me, that's the kind of, those are the sort of heroes that like really interest me, are the sort of underdog versions, like the ones who aren't the sort of like, I mean, Superman's awesome, but like he doesn't have problems that I can relate to.
Right.
I like the F-up heroes and the sort of the crooked heroes, and to combine them and to watch them like, bump up against each other. Like, that's like a recipe for TV that's like fun to write. Because that's the kind of, I came up writing shows that are based on flawed people like Veronica Mars and Chuck, and so like that's what I'm good at. That's those are the kind of people I relate to. Yeah.
You talk about bringing over the Flash's Rogues Gallery, and also having Vandal Savage, who's sort of like a Justice Society villain.
Yeah.
And I was curious about bringing those guys over and having them kind of be the main villains of the show.
Yeah, I mean, with Vandal, with any villain, the trick is always to try to find somebody commensurately evil or formidable to your, and we have an ensemble of 8+ heroes, so you're just like, you have to come up with a version of the Antichrist if you want it to feel like it's anywhere close to being like a sort of even challenge between our the black hats and the white hats, although in truth most of our guys are sort of gray hats. And so coming up with an immortal seemed like the only way that we could have a bad guy who matched our team.
Is there a chance that there will be more female superheroes introduced to the team throughout the season?
I was just thinking about that. And I was doing the math, and yes, it does feel like we have a need for some double X chromosome ass kickery. Although I will say that the 2 women we do have can certainly hold their own and make up for their numbers with their strength of personality and just pure strength.
What do you have available to do? I mean, obviously Supergirl you don't have, and there's things like Gotham, those characters you can't have. So
it's true, but yeah, you have to go deep into the catalog. But I mean, one of the virtues of being able to travel through time is that we can find mortals who would be part of our cause. Maybe we can find superheroes from different incarnations, because we're able to go back in time and find them.
I'm curious to hear more about how Captain Cold and Heatwave fit in.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Not very well.
yeah, they're bad guys. They may not be the worst bad guys we've seen on these shows, but they're not heroic, certainly. Is it an ongoing concern of whether or not they can be trusted in this team?
Oh, it absolutely is, and those suspicions are certainly borne out. But like I can really relate to their badness. You know, I have to say they're both like on our show, as opposed to Flash, where they came in as guest stars. We get to live with them and really get to get under their psychopathology, and like hopefully people come away like kind of feeling for these guys. I mean, I feel like if you did, I mean, there's. I find their friendship like, Butch and Sundance style is like, they don't believe in much, but the fact that they believe in each other, I find totally like heartwarming. Yeah.
Seeing how the Lazarus Pit has affected, other characters in Arrow, and obviously that's Katie's character. Is it going to explore that and how it affects the turn on the team?
How it continues to affect her throughout the season? Yeah, it's her journey is really interesting because it really is like a sort of struggle for her to reclaim her humanity. And we're just talking about Leonard and Rory. Those guys have lost their humanity by being villains, but she's sort of had hers stripped from her, and for her, it's about trying to find, human connection, and again, it's like a very human scale story. This is a very, it's an action superhero series, but I think it should be relatable, even for people who don't get into people with costumes and powers and the like.
In terms of scale, the Arrow is very urban, and the Flash is mostly grounded in one location. How different is this? What
this
kind
is
of
real
challenges have you
different.
guys-
This is real different. It takes place on a spaceship that travels through time and arrives in, different eras and locations. And, it is sort of divided into chapters, which are serialized. It's not episodic bad guy of the week. It is, 2 or 3 or 4 episodes in a time period, which can be, we want to do the greatest hits of the 20th century. So, without giving away spoilers, it's like if you had a time machine, where would you go? Where would you intervene? And trying to imagine Vandal Savage as, the sort of like the devil in the Stone song Sympathy for the Devil, imagining that this guy's been going through history, like, sort of dipping his fingers in the sort of, inhuman events and sort of steering the course of history for his own like evil purposes. I mean, that's the fun of our show is trying to find him and intercept him at these like points in history where, the balance seem tipped, whether that's, Cold War, nuclear annihilation, or World II fascism, or you name it. Like, if bad SH * was happening, Vandal was there. So the fun of our show is encountering him in these sort of iconic 20th century crucible moments.